with talent on loan from God. I am America's real anchorman, America's truth detector, and the doctor of democracy. All here in one harmless, lovable little fuzzball bundle. Serving humanity simply by showing up. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB network, 800-282-2882. If you want to be on the program, the email address, lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. There's a whole stack of stuff I've had. Oh, yeah, we've got a whole stack of stuff on the jihadists in Orlando that I haven't even gotten to yet. Let's go some of this other stuff here before we get back to your phones. How do we still have people reacting to Trump? We do, so we'll have some of that. And we've got continuing audio sound bites. There's panic, by the way. There's panic in the drive-by media. I told you about the polling. For the past 2 days, I have been warning you not to pay attention to the way the drive-bys are reporting the polling data. It's not nearly as bad. In fact, it may not be bad at all for Trump by the time you fully analyze it. But the proof is in the pudding. On the Today Show today, Matt Lauer and Savannah Guthrie they're shocked and they're concerned by the battleground state polls where Trump is still even with Hillary in Florida, Pennsylvania, close in Ohio. They can't believe it. They can't believe it. They can't believe two things. They can't believe Trump is still viable. They see all of this talk in the Republican delegate circle about getting rid of Trump. They see private meetings among the Republican Party trying to get rid of Trump. They think Hillary is the greatest thing to ever happen to American politics because she's a woman and she's a Democrat. And the fact that she's just not skunking Trump, that she's got all this money, she's raised all this money, she's been spending a lot of it lately, trying to define Trump, trying to marginalize Trump. Trump doesn't have any money to speak of. Certainly not in her league, has not been spending much. And not only is he not being blown out, he's leading her in some of these battleground polls. And they can't explain it. They are beside themselves. They really are, folks. Panic is selling. This speech that happened today. Let me address something. I've had a couple of emails today, and I should mention this so that you don't think I'm trying to sweep anything under the rug here. I've had emails today from people who say, you sound awfully enthusiastic about this guy. You know, Trump's not a conservative, Rush. You should be out there pushing Ted Cruz. With all this talk about getting rid of Trump, it's an opportunity to motivate, get Ted Cruz back in as a nominee. You're a conservative leader. You ought to be leading that movement. And I said, wait a minute. I have not misled anybody at any point during this campaign. From the moment the primaries began, I have been blunt force up front with everybody about the objective here, which is to beat Hillary Clinton. I don't care with what. There isn't anything worse. We can't, folks, we can't withstand culturally, economically, politically. We can't withstand another 4 years of what we've just had the last 8, and that's what it would be. And it would be worse because it would be 4 more years on top of what are already 7.5, by that time, 8 years of genuine destructive politics from the highest office in the land. For me, this has always been about one thing, and that's about beating Hillary. Whoever the nominee of the Republican Party was going to be was going to get my support. Well, what about conservatism, Russia? I don't think I've changed a whit here, folks. Other people have, but for 27 years you've been able to tune in here every day and be confident of what you're going to get. And you've been able to be confident that it's being honestly spoken to you. Do I wish Trump were better at certain things? Do I wish Trump were more instinctive? Yeah, of course. But I think no matter who the nominee was, we were going to have problems. Some people would have more problems than others given who the nominee was. But I could go through the list of people that might have been the nominee, and I can pretty much recite what objectives from various Republicans would be. But the greatest unifying aspect we have in this race is Hillary Clinton. And look, I know, folks, within the conservative movement and even within the Republican Party and any other group that's by definition not liberal, there are all kinds of people worried to death that various things are being abandoned here. Various concepts, precepts, principles are being abandoned. And I know that there are people who think that we're going to get slaughtered no matter what we do. And worse, I know some people who want us to be slaughtered. There's all kinds of people on our side who think the best lesson that could happen is if Trump gets beaten this huge landslide so that we don't make this mistake anymore. I've heard that philosophy argued one way or the other since the beginning days of this program. And there's one thing I've learned. I don't ever see the advantage in losing. I just haven't been able to find it. I haven't been able to find victory in losing. And in this case, defeating Hillary Clinton and everything else that goes along with that is paramount to me. And I'm by no means confident that it can happen. But I want to be. So I'm looking for hopeful signs that this can happen. And I do think they're there. I think she's a weak candidate. I think she has vulnerabilities left. She is not loved. She's not adored. Her negatives, you talk about Trump, her negatives are almost as high as his is, his are to the point they cancel each other out. But my support for defeating Hillary Clinton is not meant and does not in any way signal that I am, what's the term, going soft on core beliefs or core principles. You know, my favorite phrase has become a cliche, but I still like it. It is what it is. You have to deal, I'm the mayor of Realville, you have to deal with what you have to deal with. It doesn't do anybody any good to wish things were different, unless you have an opportunity to make them different. And I don't think that makes much sense right now, but we shall see.